Hey, it's Anita Anderson, and I'm a Keller Williams local realtor, and I love to talk about Sonoma County and share it with the world. And hey, if you need help in any way with information from a local homegrown Sonoma County realtor, all my information is now on the screen and below here in the description section. So make sure you connect with me as I can help you move in to your new house, or maybe sell your home. And so let's move on and start talking about the pros and cons of Sonoma County. Now, as I've grown my YouTube channel, I've wanted to know what other tubers are doing in other cities, what they're talking about. And many of them come up with long con lists, or bad or not the best parts of town lists, or things like that. And I suppose I could come up with something. I mean, I could. But each of the towns in Sonoma County has a completely different flavor, lifestyle, kind of world around it. And many of the cities, all the ones that I talk about, that I sell homes in, and that are the most populous cities: Sonoma, Petaluma, Rohnert Park, Santa Rosa, Windsor, and Sebastopol, those cities, they have older, beautiful parts of town. They're not old, scruffy, unkept parts of town. They're beautiful old parts of town. Now, are there older, more less expensive parts of maybe Petaluma and Santa Rosa? Sure, you can find those, but I wouldn't really look at them and go, ew, I wouldn't live there, or that's more of a part of town where you might want to buy like investment homes because they're cheaper. I mean, let's get real. This is Sonoma County in California. There's nothing cheap about it here. Let's just say it out loud. It's $5 gas. It's $700,000 homes starting, a few exceptions in a few of the cities. And it's pricey to live in California. The politicians drove it up instead of making it the prosperous golden state it was. But we still love it here because it's spectacular to live here. Everyday life and just the way you live in Sonoma County, and all of that is worth the money to a lot of people. And the locals and the people that have been here for generations, they're not going anywhere, because it's amazing, beautiful Sonoma County on earth. It's lovely. So I can't really go around Sonoma County telling you, like, don't live there, because there's not a lot of that. When you're here and I'm talking to you and I'm working with you and I figure out more about what you really want and where you're commuting to, where you want your kids to go to, that heads us in a whole more accurate direction than just telling you, hey, that's the bad part of town, or that's the poor part of town, or like, no one cares about that. I care about helping you get into an area and a town you can afford, and the neighborhoods that work for you, with the best schools, shopping close by, and all of that. And as you'll notice, is kind of a string through all my videos, there's kind of all good in most of the cities. So, modernity arrived in Sonoma County a long time ago. So if you've never lived here and you're like, I hope there's a Walmart and a Target and a Costco, you got it here in Sonoma County. Now, one of the cons might be if you live in Cloverdale, or you're going to live in the city of Sonoma, you're going to have to drive to those places at least a good half hour. all right? But if you're living in the 6 cities that are closest together, that are the most populous cities in Sonoma County, you're going to be good for all of life's conveniences. Totally fine. And the older, more character-rich parts of town that have been around since the turn of the century in many of the little cities in Sonoma County. They have character and they're cool. And they're changing and people are buying the houses and fixing them up, right? Because that's what happens. So it's kind of neat. So I have more pros than cons. And I'll touch on a few cons, but mostly I'm going to tell you, let's just start out here with jobs are abundant. Technology came up here in the 90s from Silicon Valley, an hour and a half south of here, and the pharmaceutical industry is all here and has arrived in Sonoma County. So if you're looking for jobs in technology or pharmaceuticals or medical supply, Medtronics is here, Keysight is here, the big wineries and the wine industry, of course, this is the heart of it all in California. In Napa and the surrounding areas, it's wine country. So if you work in that industry, you've arrived, because this is the heart of it, especially in Santa Rosa and Sonoma and north of Santa Rosa. Really everywhere in the county, there's wine growing. So if you're a doctor or a nurse or you work in the medical field, we've got abundant hospitals. Kaiser is in almost every city. If it's not, it's close by, and Sutter Health. And your commute will be 15 minutes to 25 minutes, depending on how far away you live from your work. So jobs are abundant and conveniently located to the bigger employers in the county. They're very close by. And you know what? If the freeway's a little backed up, you just take a little frontage road or go around the back and it'll take you maybe 10 minutes longer. I do it all the time. So there's ways to get around that freeway commute that many people have discovered. And it's nice to drive home after work and take the country roads. It's extra nice, actually. So there's lots of jobs. There's a university in this town, in this county, the Sonoma State University, and the junior college, which is Santa Rosa JC, is in the middle of Santa Rosa. And suffice it to say that probably 80% of the population of this county has at least taken a class or got their AA at the junior college. And then they transferred maybe to a university or just took classes there. Maybe you woke up at 40 years old and you needed some new skills, so you took some paralegal classes or nursing classes at the JC. It's a real typical thing because we have a top-notch junior college in this county. So it's a university county, I'll call it. The university's in Rohnert Park and JC's in Santa Rosa. And I often forget to mention that there's a campus in Petaluma too for the Santa Rosa JC, a really nice extension campus. I shouldn't even call it that. It's like a second campus to the school. So you've got schools close by and jobs and weather, which people ask me about. Is it hot there all the time? I'm like, oh no, it's like 85 and 90 most of the time. It is the middle or end of June here in 2021 and we're going to hit 100 tomorrow. It happens. That's why grapes grow here, because it gets warm. But in a lot of the cities in Sebastopol and Petaluma, it could be 90 all day, but it'll get 70 and then maybe 60, and you'll be covered with fog all night. You can sleep with your window open, get that cool breeze coming in, and it's really nice. It's great sleeping weather. So you have lots of, I would say, 2 main climates in Sonoma County, hot and warm, and then the coastal communities. And Petaluma's not coastal, but just where how the land lays and where it is, the fog comes in and cools it down a lot all year long. So you've got, great geography, and the weather's pretty perfect, very Mediterranean, not humid, not extra hot, just comfortable almost every day of the year. And I've seen it snow twice on the Golden Gate Bridge in growing up. That's weird. So occasionally we get uber super cold, not Minnesota cold or that really New York freezing winter cold ever. But I've seen the snow stick for many hours, and we can get down below 30, so you'll need your parka in January and February. You'll probably need a raincoat more than that. But you know, we get our heavy duty rains, as you've probably heard about Russian River. The weird part about Russian River, and the reason it floods about every 10 years, is there'll be a high tide, which the river ends at the ocean, right? And so that backs up the river. It can't flow out west. So it backs way up into the creeks, and the creeks rise, and then we're having some kind of crazy storm with a whole dump of rain, and that is flood situation right there. We witnessed it 2 years ago. That was crazy to see the river 50 feet higher than usual. You just can't believe it when you see it, but we don't really have extremes here. They happen, but we don't have extremes. So I would say the worst con would probably be earthquakes. I mean, from Alaska to the tip of Chile is earthquakes. You're on the Pacific Rim. There's volcanoes pretty close by, and the earth shifts around here. So I went through my whole life, though, up through, well, when I moved back here permanently was the first time that I ever felt a little shaker when I was in Petaluma. I was like, is that an earthquake? I got used to them down in LA. There are shakes all the time. And were some big ones down there, but and there's been big ones that have leveled downtown Santa Rosa. I'm not going to tell you that the faults don't run through here, because they do. But they're very rare and few and far between. And you get to live in Sonoma County, so forget about the earthquakes. They're not going to be a big deal. What else is a con? For some people, the fog that comes in, depending on what city, that kind of bums them out. I know my mom kind of told me it was funny because she grew up in San Francisco, and she was excited to move to Petaluma when she met my dad, and they came back and had me and all that, and my brother, and started a family in Petaluma. And she thought it was going to be warm Sonoma County, and Petaluma is cool a lot. Even when it's 100 degrees, like it's going to be in a few days, Petaluma will have fog, which I can actually see out my window right now, and a cool under 70. You know, you might want to put on a sweater, a light sweatshirt kind of thing, walking around town, and it's breezy. So you run out of your house and you're going shopping and everything, or you're walking to dinner at night, you're going to need a little sweater in Petaluma, and in the westernmost part of Sebastopol as well. So there's little microclimates that are sweater weather during the summer. And if you live in Sonoma, and if you don't like heat, well, Sonoma, actually people have air conditioners. In parts of Santa Rosa, people have air conditioners. They're not really that common. Well, I guess they're probably more common in the new builds, but people lived here for generations without air conditioning because it's pretty temperate weather. So the new houses do have it. And you would need it on the easternmost side of Santa Rosa. It's got hills between the ocean and that area, and it can be warmer. So we get our 100-degree weather, but we sit in 85-ish mostly, and so that's kind of the pros and cons of the whole weather thing. What else? There are year-round farmers markets. If you like farm-to-table food, you like going out and picking your food. Like we used to watch the farm trail maps, which I'll put right there and a link right there, and go out and pick cherries and peaches and apples. Of course, we grow a lot of apples. A lot of the farms are gone, but they're growing grapes. But you can go out and pick your own food, and you can gather a tray of eggs that has blue eggs and green eggs and speckled eggs and brown eggs and even yellowish kind of eggs. That I love. Lots of countryside farm stands. that you'll go by. So you'll love the food here. It's fresh. The cheese, the goat cheese, and the cheese factories here, the Bohemian Creamery, the Rouge et Noir in Petaluma. There's lots of great cheese. A lot of goat cheese dairies have popped up in the last 10 years, and that's really delicious. So also the shopping is throughout the county. Of course, this is big tourist country, so there's lots of boutique shopping at the Barlow in Sebastopol, downtown on the green area in downtown Windsor, is cute boutique shopping and eating outside and summer concerts. Santa Rosa has all kinds of outdoor dining and shopping with 2 huge shopping malls. Well, actually, there's more than that, but like the Macy's and the Penny's kind of shopping malls, and there's Montgomery Village, which is terrific, has Talbot's and J. Jill and more upscale stores in the Montgomery Village. And don't forget to eat your dinner at Monty's. There's a couple here, the Starks, Mark and Terry, I believe. I have never met them, but they have Stark Steakhouse, they have Monty's, they have Bird in the Bottle, they have Willie's Wine Bar. There might be a few more, and they're just lovely, well-priced, beautiful food places to sit and eat. And they have lots of outdoor space, and they're spectacular. So I always send my clients and anybody I know off to one of their restaurants because I know they're going to go, wow, Anita, that was amazing. So that's kind of cool. So shopping, dining, and all that, you'll just love it. It's abundant in the winter time. You'll be eating inside. It was kind of weird during COVID because we had a really dry winter. So when all the restaurants moved everybody outside, which has made every town look so festive. A little bit of Europe has arrived in America because you can dine out, especially in the southern states and California. But people dined out, put their jacket on, and they're dining out, eating their pizza or whatever on a lot of the main streets in all the main towns throughout the county. So I thought that was amazing. What else? So transportation. So if you're flying out for work or you need to go anywhere, there's the Santa Rosa Airport, and getting to San Francisco and Oakland is easy. Driving's an hour, hour and a half, but we have a great airporter system, so don't worry about getting to airports. I love the airporter. I talk about it on like every video because it's a nice, clean, awesome bus, and you don't have to leave your car at the airport. And I take an Uber. I was going to say a goober. I take an Uber from my house to the airporter 6 minutes away, and my car is safe and sound here. So I love that. So all kinds of transportation. We have the Smart Train, and that will take you from Sonoma County down through Marin County, and it ends at the Bay. So if you're going to go to San Francisco on a train, there's no such thing. You have to get off and get on a ferry, which is another adventure across the bay. So that's kind of cool. So Santa Rosa and the northern towns, if you do have to go to work, a con would be that it's a good hour and a half commute, and there's commuter traffic. Not as much as before, but I notice it's coming back. So you want to think about what cities you're going to live in if you have to go regularly to Marin County or even into San Francisco or the East Bay. I sell houses to people that work in the East Bay, but they want to live in Sonoma County. Now that's a little bit longer, windy commute, but I understand why they want to live in Sonoma County and maybe work in Oakland. So as we know, everybody's lifestyle has changed. So many of you are looking for offices in your houses and an extra room for that. And there's plenty of houses with extra nooks and extra rooms, especially if you can afford a 4-bedroom. So all of that is happening, and the commutes and the drives, it depends on the day. Coming back from San Francisco or Oakland into Sonoma or Petaluma or even farther north is commuting. Not going to say it's not. That's a con. All on new freeways, all kinds of new freeway stuff been going on about 10 years now, and they're completing them and they're taking shape, and that's amazing because we have very cool, modern, wider lane freeways and more lanes. 2 thumbs up for Sonoma County on that. So, but there are commutes, and I'm not going to tell you there's not at all. Homeowners Association dues, which no one really likes to pay, but there's lots of townhome, small condo, and I'll call everything kind of a condo townhome. It's not a house, but it's a condo townhome. They have homeowners associations, and that's a drag. Most do, they all do, throughout the state of California. In Sonoma County, we're talking starting in the 300 mark and eking up into the $500 and $700 mark for homeowners associations. Not for all of them. Most of the HOAs in Roanoke Park are in the 3 mark, 300, 375, 385. So sometimes that's a great way to get into owning a house without having to taking care of a huge house, because that's a big surprise for a lot of people. They're like, oh my God, there's no landlord and I have to pay for everything. Well, a good way to introduce yourself to that whole process is through a townhome or a condo, because all you have to basically take care of is what's on the inside walls. And you have a little deck or a little outdoor space, maybe in the front and the back, and that's where you plant a little vegetable pot, and that's easy care, right? So Roanoke Park, parts of Petaluma, and Santa Rosa are abundant with first-time buyer condo, townhome, and smaller homes that are much more affordable. So those are the 3 cities that I would think about if you're thinking of making a first purchase and you don't kind of quite want a house. All right. Lastly, we have fires up here. California is known for being dry desert for millions of years now. It's not something new at all to California. It's old news. It's just that more and more people live here, and people from out of state, and they're like, oh, I didn't know it was so dry in California. Well, yeah, most of California is a desert, a big dry desert. And Sonoma County is not a desert, but it's temperate. So it gets hot in the summer and there can be fires. Just to calm you down a little bit, the fires that happened in 2017 were freak, unusual fires. Many people, and they got sued for this, thought it started with the electrical company PG&E. It was crazy bad winds that whipped up electrical lines, caused sparks, and destroyed a big chunk of Santa Rosa, Windsor, and outlying areas as well. There was thunder and lightning, and that started fires last year. That was crazy. I've never seen a lightning storm like that. And I know some of you are from Texas and Tennessee and you see them every day. Well, we don't. And that was like 4 hours of serious, like you couldn't even go 1,000, 2, 1,000. It was a crazy lightning for 3 hours from 3 in the morning till 6 in the morning. And it started like 9 forest fires all around. Not city fires. The city fires were, the cities that got affected by the fires were in 2017. Much of it rebuilt and looking awesome. Lots of spec homes you can buy there, newer homes that are all modern and really neat. So there are fires. It's California. It's dry. You got to get used to it and be careful where you live. And if you're fearful of that, there's definitely areas of Sonoma County you're not going to want to live in. If you like living out in the country amongst the oak trees and things like that, you're going to just have to take that into consideration because it's dry, right? And we're starting a drought. So there's lots of droughts. Droughts happen. They've been happening for millions of years in California. It's not something new, but there are more people and more water is used. So now we have to kind of sift that out too. But we just do it, right? And it just works out. So those are kind of the cons, a little bit of fog, some fires, an occasional earthquake. Other than that, I think every single city of my 6 cities that I cover the most of are lovely, family oriented, and great special cities. Each one has a different flavor and a different like way you live there, but they're fun and they're great all-American cities here in California. So that's kind of the pros and cons of it. Hit that subscribe button and the little bell and you'll get all my future videos. My information is right on the screen right now and below in the comments section. And look for all the free stuff down there. If you need to print out a buyer's guide or a relocation guide, you can do that. It'll come into your email box once you click on the link. This is Anita with Discover Sonoma County Living. I'm a local Keller Williams realtor. I help people buy and sell homes, and I love Sonoma County, so my YouTube channel is going to share everything I can about Sonoma County with you. And I'll see you around the neighborhood. The videos come out on Fridays, so hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you around. Thanks for watching.